guys, thanks for tuning into my channel. Today is going to be a nice, fun, interesting, conversational kind of day, and we are going to name our Fridays Inspirational Fridays. So I hope I can inspire someone in some sort of way today with this topic and conversation. And if you haven't already, go ahead and please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications, because we are going to be doing a lot more crazy topics on just life in general and how I can inspire you in some way from my lifestyle and things that I've been through that I can help you guys with as well. So let's get started. So with that said, please stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give you one of the best inspirational quotes ever. Okay, so today's topic is going to be on boundaries. There's 3 different types of boundaries. There's emotional, there is physical, and there's mental. Today I'm going to be talking about emotional boundaries and just kind of self-care that you need for yourself to just separate from the craziness and have that time for yourself kind of thing and your family and your wants and needs. Okay, so what a boundary means to me is basically like the space between you and the other person, or just any person in general. So putting those boundaries for me, I feel like helps me to protect myself from any stress, any depression, any just overload that people can put on you basically, I feel like, because sometimes I don't think some people understand that what they're doing is just loading you up and just stacking stuff on top of you. So basically the whole purpose of a boundary is to protect you and to take care of your self needs and what you need that's healthy for yourself, because self-care is very important these days. A lot of people don't really do it because they don't feel like they are doing everything right. They just want to people please, and I'm guilty of that because I really have always grown up to just be a people pleaser. I don't like seeing anybody mad or angry or upset, so I would try and do as much as I can to make everyone happy, and at the end of the day it stresses you out a lot, very much, and causes a lot of overwhelming feelings and sometimes even tension, because if you don't start to set those boundaries, people will walk literally all over you, and I know that from personal experience. And of course, people don't feel like they do it because I feel like I never did it. I just wanted everybody to be happy, and at the end of the day I was kind of overloading myself, people pleasing everybody and making sure that they were happy, and at the end of the day it was just bashing me down and taking my happiness. So I was giving everybody else the happiness that I needed for myself, and yeah, so that has to do a lot with the self-care aspect of the boundaries. And so there's different types, of course, but the emotional has a lot to do with your self-care and just mostly to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you really can't take care of other people. And me, I have a big family. I have my husband who's gone over the road a lot, and he needs my emotional support because, I mean, truckers are in a little box. They're in their truck for the most part. Yes, they get out and walk and see different places, but they don't really get to see the different places. So it's nice to be able to help him even emotionally wise and just be there to support him too. And so life comes with supporting your husband or whoever you're with, your partner, and also kids. Kids are a huge thing. Of course, there's boundaries with kids as well that you can set. I know there's a lot that I like to set, because if not, I feel like you're just allowing your kids to walk all over you, and it's not easy taking yourself back from that. So with that said, I feel like when you have to support your husband, I shouldn't say have to, like you should want to. I love supporting my husband and my family, but you have to support your husband, your kids, if you have any animals or other responsibilities, work, all that stuff, it gets pretty crazy. And also for me, I'm a blended family, so we have to deal with not just our relationship, but we have to deal with other parents as well. So it makes it kind of complicating, kind of difficult, but at the end of the day, like, you have to focus on you and your family and I wouldn't say making them happy, but just enjoying you guys. And the more you enjoy each other, it becomes happiness, and it makes life so much easier. Another main point that really caught my eye was, once you set a boundary, stick to it, because if not, people are just going to continue to walk all over you, and they're just going to say, oh, well, she didn't stick to it, so I can probably get along and keep getting away with stuff, and it's just not healthy at all. So if you're gonna start setting these boundaries, it's gotta be kind of brutal, but I mean, it's for your own self-help, it's for your own self-care, and just your happiness in general, because you need that for your family and for yourself most. Okay, so another main point that really caught my eye while I was doing research on boundaries and emotional boundaries is basically, you might feel like you're rejecting somebody, or you might feel like they're making you guilty and you feel that guilt from them, but at the end of the day, you're not rejecting them, you're rejecting their behavior towards you, and you're basically rejecting their behavior towards yourself to set those boundaries so that you can be treated with respect, I guess you can say, with the boundaries, because I feel like it's almost stepping over your toes, and it's not meaning it towards the person. You're not trying to reject people or reject them out of your life. That's not the main point. The point is just to set the boundaries so that people don't walk all over you. Also, I feel like boundaries help to kind of create the better, healthy relationship between you and whomever you're trying to set that boundary with, whether it be your spouse, whether it be your in-laws, your parents, your siblings, friends, children, your coworkers, wherever the boundary needs to be set. I feel like it's just going to make it a healthier relationship at the end of the day. Yes, it might hurt them at first and feel kind of like you're being rude, but you're not. You're just setting a healthy boundary for yourself, for your family, and just your whole aspect in life, I guess you can say. It's healthier for you to get it off your chest. And also just knowing that you're sticking up for yourself, and it just makes you feel more confident and just proud. So just a few bullet points that I actually wrote down that I'm going to actually start applying to my life as well is just a few kind of things that I thought was really cool and caught my eye. The first one is limit what you tell your family. Me, I am so used to my past, like my whole past, I've always depended on my family. I know my family's always there for me, and even growing up, I wouldn't say it was a broken home. It was kind of different. I guess I can say growing up, I lost my dad at the age of 6, so my mom was widowed. But then eventually I had my stepdad, and he came into my life at not too far after, but he's been one of my best supporters growing up. And I guess you can say just the stuff that I've been through growing up and trying to figure out life, one of the main things that I wish I hadn't have done was telling my family every single aspect or running to them every time I was in trouble instead of trying to figure things out for myself. So I would say limit what you tell your family so it's not going to be as hard to set that boundary with them. The second aspect and bullet point is, if you need to and it gets that bad of a case and people are being rude to you or disrespecting you or your family or whatever the case may be, block or unfollow them on social media, because at the end of the day, I feel like people start stirring stuff up and you have to be cautious of what you post or what you say and stuff, and that's just not healthy living at all. You want to be able to express your feelings and stuff. So with that said, if you have to go to that, I wouldn't even say it's extraordinary, because you can always add them back if you have a better relationship with them eventually. But for your own self, if you feel like you need to do that, that is actually a healthy boundary that I thought was pretty cool because I've had to do it personally too, and it has worked. Okay, and thirdly, there is no rule that says you must accept toxic behavior from any loved one. With that said, to me, I kind of feel like you can say no, or you can tell them to stop, or if you are trying to have a conversation and they're just trying to overstep you and tell you what you need to do, or whatever the case may be, or your kids are hounding you after X amount of time and they're trying to just get on you, you don't need to take it. Just tell them no, or you don't even have to say anything. You can just stop where that's at and say, I hear you, but I'm gonna leave because I don't agree. So you can just get up and go. Because at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that through the video, but literally, self-help is so important. A huge point for me, which I've always felt like I've had to do growing up, is I try to explain myself. I feel like explaining yourself almost kind of seems like you're being defensive, kind of, I guess you can say. But that's just from personal experience, from being in a bad past relationship and trying to explain something and it comes off defensive when you're trying not to be defensive, and that just causes problems. But also, with family members as well, you don't need to explain yourself, especially if you're an adult at that stage. You're an adult, you can take care of yourself. You need to learn how to take care of yourself, and just depend on your significant other or your spouse or your partner, whoever the case may be, and just work through it, because at the end of the day, that's going to make you so much stronger. So no need to explain anything, I guess you can say. No problems with mine. But I would say, for the most part, if your husband's having a problem with your parents, or we'll just start there. So if your husband's having a problem with your parents, for me, I feel like it's not, he is the man in the house, your husband or your partner is the person who you really want to connect with, but at the end of the day, it's your family, and you need to be that strong person to sit there and support whoever that is that feels like they're not getting the support, and you need to take the lead and set that boundary with your family, because that's your family. You know how they are, you know what's best to do when it comes to that situation, and vice versa. If your wife's having an issue with her parents or a sibling, for instance, you need to leave that situation to that person's family, because they know their family, they know what they have been through, they've known probably a lot more than you do, so, and they'll take it a lot better than coming from, I wouldn't say a stranger, but just somebody they didn't raise almost. So yeah. Those are a lot of my main points, and kind of what I feel like boundaries emotionally. Those are just some of them that I feel like really have impacted me and kind of brought light to my life with boundaries as well, because a lot of times I feel like boundaries don't really get stuck to or noticed. So yeah. By the way, sorry about all this crazy lighting. This is just some of the stuff that I have to do to kind of get my time on YouTube and give you guys my time. I actually have cartoons playing for my little one, the baby. And then if you're feeling like you're just overwhelmed and stressed out, or for example, like myself, I've been going through a lot of postpartum anxiety and depression, and with that you feel like you can go and talk to people, and sometimes they just like to overstep that talking. And so that's when I say be careful when you talk to your family or close friends even, or coworkers as well, because that's a huge thing too. Because things can either get taken out of proportion or whatever happens, but it can get twisted really easy, and it's just more emotional stress on yourself. But it's more understanding to me now, knowing boundaries, and if I would have set those boundaries, it probably would have been okay and things wouldn't have been this crazy. Okay, so with that said, I have a super cool motivational, kind of inspirational quote that kind of inspired me today and just in general. It is, setting boundaries is a way of caring for myself. It doesn't make me mean, selfish, or uncaring because I don't do things your way. I care about me. So that, for me, I feel like helps me remind myself, like, you need to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. So with that said, thank you so much for kind of listening to me, and I hope I kind of inspired you guys in some way, and thank you for joining me on my Inspirational Friday. Now I gotta get to that cranky one. Bye.